Welcome back to Que-pasa-Nashville. My name is Christina Allen, and we are talking to Sheyla Paz-Hicks with Paz Communications. And what's special about Sheyla is that she got to go with President Obama to Cuba as part of the White House press corps, and telling us that story of how the privilege to be able to be applied and chosen to go with a select group of journalists to Cuba, which was a huge thing, that door opening, and also for you to see your family, your home country, and just be part, especially arrive with the president for your family, like you've made it. So,
so now my brother said I'm a big deal in Cuba now. Is it really?
well, that's my question is, how many Cuban Americans were part of the press corps? Was there a lot?
Well, there was Jim Acosta from CNN, and then me.
Wow, so there's not many. So so did they
60?
see you as a resource? Because
it was interesting because there were like 300 journalists from around the world in the filing room, and when they were writing something, they would say, "Hey, Cubana, could you tell me about this?" And then want to make sure that they had the phrases correctly.
You were the authentic professional journalist there. Yeah. So as a chosen representative of Tennessee of Paz Communication to go to Cuba. What did that allow you for? I mean, credibility. I mean, that took you to another level in Cuba as well, I would think.
Well, it gave me the chance to do bilingual storytelling. Okay. Because since I was telling you earlier that we got there the day before, so I spent 4 hours with my mom and my aunt and my two brothers, and then the next morning we got up and got ready and we went to do stories on the street. So I got to interview people and Cuban people on the streets, and then do the segment.
Did you have to get that approved or anything? Or
no.
They gave you that? They gave you already got the pass in.
No.
You're already in.
I could do whatever I wanted. But I didn't have all the time that I wanted to do all the stories that I wanted.
So, and what was your first story? What did you?
My first story was about the streets that were fixed, the ones that were that President Obama was going to drive through.
Well, they're the ones that were fixed.
It was all
paved and stuff.
No, it was all a facade. Okay. All the buildings, not all of them, most of the buildings were painted. The stadium was painted, and
so all for the press of Obama.
All for the look. Welcoming Obama, everything was looking nice. But one of the stories that I did it on one of the side streets where you can see that everything falling apart. And also a business owner had like a pizza place kind of thing on the corner. So he gave me an interview, and I was happy because he was able to say that he was happy about the changes and the new relationships with Cuba.
And were the people excited? Are the people hopeful?
Yes.
I mean, so you saw that there, but when you come back to the United States, there are those Cubans that are still struggling with what Obama's doing in terms of President Obama, in terms of opening up that relationship, and then there's those that are embracing it. Why is that?
Well, obviously, like everywhere, it's going to be a divide. There is a group of people that are the communists, that are against the changes, and there are the ones that are very hopeful, and they are saying it's long overdue.
It's time.
Yeah, so it's time. I even interviewed a 90-year-old that said, yeah, this is a great thing. If you come with open arms, we accept you with open arms. But if you come pointing a gun at us, we're going to point a gun back to you.
Exactly.
So that's what he was saying basically on the interview, that he was very happy and that he lived before the revolution, during the revolution, and after. So he has seen all these changes. So it's amazing to see that some people are really embracing it.
Did you see a lot of other countries already have a strong presence there that didn't have any conflict with Cuba?
Yeah, Spain, Germany, Italy, Mexico.
So they're already in there trying to build.
China especially, they already have businesses in Cuba, and now Starwood is the first American company that
hotel, correct?
Yeah, they're gonna manage 5 hotels in Cuba.
So my middle school here in Nashville, they had a student trip to Cuba. They had about 30 of their students went, and of course exposed to the arts, the food, the culture. Very limited in what they had to offer there, but still the beauty of the street life and the culture that they were able to bring back. So they're still now opening more and more opportunities for you as citizens to go visit Cuba. Is that correct?
Yeah, now you can, they have some specific licenses that you can take to go to Cuba. There is one that is called People to People, which you can go and learn about the culture and do educational exchange and things like that. They have the the visa where if you are a student and want to go to study abroad, you can do that.
Well, I also know, I just got an email from Will Travel, and they're doing a cruise to in September to Cuba, and it's a pretty decent fare. And the cruise ship is there, and at least it stops there, and you get to see the cars, maybe get a cigar. Can you bring in the Cuban cigars still?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I brought some.
That's a big question for most people.
Yeah.
So in this experience, what has it done for Paz Communication? Because right now, we always talk about the growth of the Latino community in Middle Tennessee. We know it's significantly growing by our school children and the number of children under 18. And so companies are finally, realizing someone like your company is an asset. Tell me a little bit about your company and how it's evolving with the demographic shift that's going on in Tennessee, as well as maybe your experience in Cuba.
Well, a lot of people, when I give them my business card or my postcards, they think that it's just a personality. And I'm not just a personality. I have a video production company. I produce for many companies. I have produced corporate videos for the airport, for NES, and do translation
stuff.
Yeah,
if they want some Spanish or some Latin love, you can throw that in too, right? You're a business.
Bilingual. Yeah, I do English to Spanish, Spanish English, and translations. It's been a big part of my company, and voiceover and working with talent. So, and now that people know that I did this big trip to Cuba, they are now, can you tell me about Cuba, and can you do this? And I was like, because now they look at me, oh, she's the source that we can go to get what we need.
Why not?
Maybe I do a travel agency now.
Let's add that to the list. But that credibility does come with your enthusiasm and your easily approachable personality, that there is such an opportunity in Cuba, and their curiosity is huge. I know a lot of colleges are going there, and there's that fear that if America takes it over, they're going to lose that old look that they have.
Well,
but maybe that's okay, maybe it's not. I mean, there's that preservation of what it looks like now, but is that fair? I don't know.
No, I don't think it's going to happen, because it's illegal to hunt, it's illegal to fish, it's illegal to do many things in Cuba, and there is a warning on the OFAC website about that.
And this is why is it illegal to fish?
Because they want to preserve. They have it's a huge deal for the government to preserve our coral reefs and the oceans, and to preserve our culture. And the office of the historian in Havana, that's what had been his long journey, to rebuild all these buildings that are colonial from the 1800s that are falling, so they're trying to rebuild the city.
But with this impact of the, not just U.S., because you said China, Germany coming in, and if a hotel's going to be built, they're going to fix the sidewalks, the facade, and bring business, so that economic opportunity presents itself. More so with entrepreneurs if it's not as limited, and I think that's what people are saying, but there's going to be no choice if they can't keep up with the demand, right?
Yeah, and that's so true right now, because last year I was talking to a friend about, people that wanted to go to Cuba, and she said all the hotels are sold out for the entire year 2016. So it might be sold out already for next year.
But I also read that, just as preparing for this interview, how many Airbnb,
exactly.
These households are fixing up rooms and giving them food, and that's become a huge opportunity.
Well, let me tell you that this trip to Cuba, that was one of the problems, because we were supposed to stay at Parque Central, which is a hotel managed by Spain, but the price was $325 per person, and 2 days before the trip, they raised the price to $600. And I said, no, wait a minute. So I called my brother, and he found me an apartment 2 blocks from the hotel for $25 a night.
Okay.
And even though I already had some sponsors and I had a GoFundMe campaign, it wasn't enough money to cover the expenses for the trip, because you're invited.
But you have to pay.
You are responsible financially for paying the
And I know you have a GoFundMe account with Sheyla Paz-Hicks, but I also understand, you're right, you were invited, but you still had to pay the expense.
Yes.
So, but I think with the curiosity of that economy and that country, it can only get better. And so, as you talk to your parents after the trip, has it changed much with all the attention coming into?
No, nothing has changed yet.
Wow.
Because after that day that Obama was there, and the day that they gave the speech together, Man, that was nerve-wracking to be so close.
Yeah.
I mean, from here to the wall, I was that close to them. They signed the deal of the mail, and there were two things that they signed that day.
So is it like an opportunity to proclamation going forward?
Yeah, to do mail to Cuba. So
just mail.
Just the mail, and that just signing the document, so they still had to figure out how it's going to work. And then the parliament was meeting right after, so now we'll see.
Well, this is very exciting, and Sheyla, I love your enthusiasm and your professionalism, and I see you a lot of places because you embrace Nashville and your position as well as your career. So thank you very much for being on Que-pasa-Nashville. Again, thank you, Sheyla Paz-Hicks with Paz Communication, and thank you for joining Que-pasa-Nashville. Much appreciated, and we'll see you next time. Muchas gracias.